Hello. We are back again, and we have a new replay commentary from ThatEpicTexan. His team: Wisconsin, Kurfürst, Burgoyne, Stalingrad, Napoli, and Starkadakaze. Very great team, actually. And he sent this to me yesterday, and I was thinking about when I saw that name on my email, I was thinking,
let's give them a hard time.
This is Base Commander. Good luck. Try not to lose a single ship and save our base structures from destruction. Reconnaissance data suggests the principal attack will be launched in 10 minutes. If the outer radius of defense is broken, the attack will begin earlier.
and I was thinking,
Waiting instructions.
that name, when I saw his name, ThatEpicTexan, I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And I wasn't really sure. But I'm pretty sure I have seen him in randoms before, or random operations before. And I don't know why it feels like there's like a lag on this replay. I got it from the WOW's replay site. It wasn't actually the file like Rokatsuki sends me. So I mean that might be why, I don't really know. A tad bit annoying for me, but we'll work with it. Again, it is a full secondary, but I don't see that he has the special captain on. I mean, we won't know if after on 100 secondaries the skill goes off, or after the funny button goes active. As far as HE slinging, I'm not opposed to it, especially since it does help get the funny button active a little bit more quicker. It is a little, disconcerting, shall we say, when a Satsuma with 300,000 HP spawns on the first wave. Fortunately, it is the first wave where everyone is all bunched up. I would like to see how much health that Kurfürst has, though. He's been out there for quite a bit, and his Satsuma guns were, he's actually still pretty full healthy. I honestly thought he would be much lower.
This is Base Commander. Support ship reach battery 1. Restoring the battery.
Now, there's definitely a lag on this replay. I really don't know what's causing that. I don't know if it's because it was uploaded weird, or maybe it could just be the game itself for him. Because I know it goes off the actual, I thought it thinks it goes off the actual game and something like that. I really don't know. Well, the good news is it's going to be on the middle, then the left, and then back in the middle. So he will not have to go that far. As far as his damage, though, I am very curious to find out how he got so high, because it's really high. He actually sent them, this is what I got. And I was thinking, as he showed me, and I looked at it, I was like, that is a heck of a lot of damage. And I'm very curious as to how he got that high. Because there's only very few ways I know you can get damage that high. One, either the team sucks, or you're extremely aggressive. Neither of which we've really seen, and we're only on the first wave. Or the second wave. I will say, though, this is a lot easier than my normal defensive Newport map games. It's unfortunate, though, that he didn't get the funny button activated on the first wave. That is unfortunate. And that will that will affect him slightly, not a huge amount, but I do understand why he's not being super aggressive. I am kind of worried about that Stalingrad, though. That Stalingrad does kind of worry me. Okay, well, the kid is the one that's getting screwed up, honestly. He's going to be the one that's going to be in it for the worst time, because the middle wave will be spawning right on top of him, and it has the majority of the DDs that will kill him. Umahari, L-Being. Wasn't there a Haro on the third wave also? Honestly, I've been doing so many replays. I've been doing more on my own, and when I'm in a sleep and I just go click, shoot, click and shoot, click and shoot, click and shoot. I'm not paying attention to the ships anymore. I'm more focused on trying to live. So I don't really pay attention to the ships anymore. Because, I mean, he crossed over 900,000 damage. His funny button does go active. That's nice. He gets that off for the first, so hopefully we can make some use of that. But we're still like 800,000 damage shy, and we're only on the second wave. And that's where I'm kind of like, how does he get so high? And that's where my mind is like trying. That's where my mind's at. I'm thinking, how did he get so high? Like, what did he do? Like, what happened? And that's what I'm waiting for to see. Is I want to see what happens. Stalingrad, though.
That's how it's done.
Really took a really hell of a beating on that second wave. So, yeah, Stalingrad dead. Yep, there goes Stalin. And it's unfortunate because Hate's a pretty good clan too. So that is unfortunate for him. Kitakaze, you're getting really aggressive there, man. That's a little bit too aggressive for my taste. Especially when you pop Hydro, and the bots will instantly turn on their Hydro. So he really screwed up right there by dropping those torps. He might have been detected anyway, but he's not making that out of there. So Kitakaze is dead. So in a sense, we just have two ships throw themselves away. And that's kind of how I was thinking how he might get high damage, was that his team kind of started making mistakes. And that's not good either, considering, we've got two really good DDs, two really good cruisers, Venezia and Hindenburg, and then we got a 300k Satsuma steaming down the middle. It's different when you're on the first wave, but when you're getting them on the second and third waves, that's where things start to go to shit. Now, his funny secondary second funny button should be active. He isn't, though. I will say he isn't manually secondarying that, and that is affecting him just slightly. There it goes. Okay. Now that will go down, and he will start taking a heck of a lot of fire. And let's see how he does after that. Because it's the Hindenburg and the Haru that's really going to screw him up. If he starts taking Satsuma shells, which is very much true, that's really going to start hurting him.
Cash it all.
I did not see it. I don't think he has the legendary commander on there. I don't think he does. Okay, he does have the consumable expert perk on there. Okay, that actually helps. Now I totally get him backing up to minimize the Satsuma, for sure. Now that is very smart to do that, because it will not take that much to really screw him up. Napoli, though, I am kind of worried about Napoli. I'd like to see how much health he is at, because he can't go really dark. No, yeah, okay, no, he's half health. What? Destroy what? Oh, what happened?
Dash it all.
What happened? I'm very confused. I did not see anyone cross the line. The battleship's right there. What happened? Now I'm very confused. Did you guys see something? Because I missed something. Because that Haru's no... Oh, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, now he's in a very bad spot. Considering he has a Yamato, a Piemonte, a Clausewitz, and a Satsuma looking right at him. And both know that little tiny fort out there at F9 is not going to save him. Once that fort goes, he's screwed. And then you got another Satsuma bearing right down the middle again. I would expect Napoli to go down soon. He was about half health when you last saw him. Now the legendary captain would help, and there were the Yami shells. Double fires on the Satsuma though. Now I'm starting to see where he got all the damage from. Oh yeah, Napoli's totally going down if he can't go dark. If he can't go dark, he's dead. The Burgone, you really shouldn't be going out there. Clausewitz will melt you, the Piemonte will melt you, because it's French armor. The sap shells from that will just destroy you along with German AT. I don't expect Burgone to live that long. No, yeah, Burgone's getting farmed. Napoli might survive. Kurfürst has kind of been sitting back. The Wisconsin has very much been sitting back. This situation that we're in right now is very familiar to me. I've had probably like 3 of these Newport operations happen exactly like this. Like one time I literally had it happen on the first wave. Actually, no, I actually think I did have 2 of them just recently that failed the first wave. No, yeah, it was the first wave. I've had 2 of them, the Schlieffen, that have ended on the first, that have literally crossed on the first wave. So his predicament is very familiar to me. So I am very well aware of the gravity of the challenge that he is in. And it's not a very pretty one. It is a very depressing situation to be in when you are in his shoes and you've got this kind of firepower coming down. It's bad enough when it's the normal ones, but when it's overkill with normal op or super ship ops, that's when you start going like, well, this is gonna be fun. He's doing a very good job though. He's still got 2 heals. He can heal back quite a bit, and he's in a repair circle. I would like to see him spam some armor piercing, but I can understand spamming the HE. Especially when it comes to the funny button, for sure. I do like it now that he's now paying attention to the manual though, so that is good. Kurfürst though, I think his team's doing a lot better than the teams I've had, for sure. Definitely when they cleared those first 2 waves, that helped. I believe that was the Burgone. Yes, that was the Burgone. And he was half health last we saw him. So, okay, no, he really does need help. He will be going down. Unless that Piemonte and that Clausewitz go down. Because those sap shells and... What? How does the Wisconsin die? What do you do? Take torps or something? Oh. This is where I figured his team would start throwing it at a certain point. I imagine someone else is gonna die, and we're gonna have the 2 DDs spawn in. I mean, that's obviously gonna be what I'm gonna assume. I do not see 3 ships surviving. If Dragon survives, I'll be surprised. But I imagine it'll be the Kurfürst that goes down next. They are going to lose that Liberty ship, unfortunately. That Liberty ship is going to go down. It's not making it through this fight. Oh yeah, no, Kurfürst is totally dead. He's totally dead. So the DDs will be spawning. There is the dead transport. I think it got stuck on the Napoli hull. There goes the Kurfürst, the DD spawned. Unfortunately, it's on the wrong side. I wish it was on the other side. He is, what? Idiots! How are you idiots when you were the one that drove out? I think that's what? I'm not good with sling. I'm really not. He's in a very bad spot. He's in a very bad spot. Because one torp salvo from that Piemonte, that's really going to screw him up. Well, the good news is it's not sap. The bad news is I don't know where those torps are. That's what I'm worried about, are the torps. Armor piercing would have killed that right there, and then that's unfortunate. Hopefully there is enough power in those secondaries to knock it out before the torps. I am very concerned for the torps. Very concerned. The DDs will help keep that Harugumo busy for him, and that will take a lot of pressure off of him. I imagine he's obviously gonna get a major contribution from this. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think he should really start using armor piercing at this point because they're gonna be basically broadside. That's really the only thing I would say is use some armor piercing.
Ship is on fire.
But just the sheer fact that he's living and minimizing what can shoot him, that just shows that he's a decent player also. He's keeping aware of what can shoot him. He's making sure that he's not being hyper-focused, which is good. Triple fires on the poison. He should be losing about 1,000 HP. Yeah, about 1,000 HP a second. And he's constantly maneuvering his camera to kind of keep an eye on the Yamato. Because I know he's wary of that Yamato. I think it would have... I don't know. I leave it up to you guys, viewers. Would this poison be dead had he even used an armor piercing? Now he switched to the armor piercing. A little bit soon, I would say, or too late. I think that poison would have already been dead. Possibly. That Benson is literally drawing the Satsuma's fire. That's helping him stay alive. There goes the poison. Ooh, that was a wonderful 6 citadels. That is beautiful. Now I'm starting to see where his damage came from. But I did expect, when I saw that damage number, I figured his team would be throwing at some point. I mean, I played my share number of ops. You guys know that. You know I've had a number of old videos uploaded. You know I've seen my share of ops. I am very shocked that Mahan has even lived this long, though. Nice, nice. He got the cheek armor there. There goes the DD. So now he gets a nice 100k, basically all to himself. He only has to live, technically, for 43 seconds. Easy task to do. Well, the good news is that the reinforcement group has arrived. I really think that they should have it to where they arrive sooner. I don't really understand why they only spawn in like the last 30 seconds. That is unfortunate. Oh. Major contribution, assistant, 32 fires. Maybe he was going for a fire mission. If you're going for a fire mission, I could understand flinging HE. You know I was spamming HE in my Yoshino that match, so that is totally understandable. But 981k, that's still a pretty damn good amount. I mean, that's 20,000 short of a million. And had he been able to sink the Satsuma, he would have crossed a million. That in itself is a good match. You don't get these kind of matches, especially that kind of number, and usually win. You might lose and get the number, but I can imagine what that number would have, if he had a red booster, imagine what that free XP would have been like. That's what I'd like to have seen. That would have been a very nice number right there. But very well done on the major contribution, well earned, and the assistant. Kind of shocked he didn't get a C star though. That is a little odd though. He should have got a C star, shouldn't he have? That is unfortunate, with being only 1885. Again, since he lost the objectives, I imagine that went down. Again, what happened here? Because, okay, that Wisconsin sat back all match and then went out there. And then I imagine he took the Pinamonte torps and then got his ass handed to him. That is unfortunate. I get so many players raving about the Wisconsin, but you'd be surprised. I never see him in ops. Okay, I should rephrase that. I rarely see him in ops. And I rarely see him in randoms, honestly. So, Stalingrad, that's also very disappointing on his part. I don't really know what those three bottom ones were doing, honestly. I'm still kind of confused on that. Yeah, if he had had time, he would have crossed a million if he had just had some more time. And that's why I'm wondering, had he switched to armor piercing, could he have gotten it? Because I mean, the HE didn't do that much. If he switched to armor piercing, we still would have had the fires, unless the fires were tied to the HE shells. So, that's a tough one. I mean, that could have gone either way, honestly. But I love how the damage is also split up. 300,000 in fires, 300,000 in secondary hits, and 300,000 in armor piercing and HE shells. It's rare to see the numbers actually that very divided. What did the most damage to it? Of course we know it was the Satsumas. Hindenburg about 10,000, okay. Satsuma, of course. Mostly the Hindenburgs and the Satsumas. Which, to be honest, they'd fuck up anyone. He was running premium though. It was running the bonus package, so he still makes a profit. Doesn't look like he was, and he was running credits though. Was he running any free XP booster? He was running a green booster though. What about on chip XP? Oh, he was it looks like he was running a. No, that doesn't. What about any on the commander XP? He was running a 200 booster. It looks like. The only thing I would have said was I would have liked to have seen more armor piercing. I think there would have been. I think he would have crossed 100,000 or 1 million had he had that special commander. Because then we would have saw. Because when when the commander goes off, you get increased funny button time, increased secondary reload, and increased main battery reload, or decreased, I should say, on the two of them. So that might have made the difference and got him to 200,000, but I can also understand, considering that the last two commanders have been very difficult. When we've got Conrad that was locked behind the crates, and you had to work your ass off to get the crates. And I believe the Pan-Euro one that one was a puzzle, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a puzzle and a collection. So if you didn't get it, yeah. Sorry about that, folks. That is on my bad. I did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. Overall, though, it was a very good match. Just, I would have liked to have seen more armor piercing, but nothing else. I think he did everything else right. Especially when we saw it I still am very confused on that second wave, though. I swear I didn't see no one cross it. And that's where I'm getting kind of confused at. But considering that he had that spawn on the third wave, he had the third wave, then the reinforcement waves to deal with. He handled that extremely well. Kudos, EpicTexan, for that. That was a great job doing that. I can compliment you on that for sure, because I can definitely say there are very few op players among the average community that would be able to handle that. And there's very few ships between Schlieffen and Libertad that could handle this. That just kind of shows you, folks, just the sheer power of those two ships and ops. They're very much broken by far.